Hi, I'm Pete with Allen's Arsenal, and I'm here to talk to you today about picking a handgun. I get a lot of novice people who always come to me and ask me about picking out a handgun and which one is right for them. And the reality of it is sort of like asking your friend who drives a Ford, and there's nothing wrong with Fords, but which car is the perfect one to drive, and he's always going to tell you a Ford. Typically, it's always the same thing with picking out a handgun. You get a guy who all he's ever fired is Glocks, or mostly all he's ever fired is Glocks. He'll always going to tell you that, hey, you get a Glock 19 or a Glock 17 or whatever, that's the perfect answer. However, and nothing against that person, he hasn't broadened his horizons and looked at other guns to shoot at. And it's also going to go along with how you're going to carry it, where you're going to keep it, or whether you're just going to have it on your nightstand somewhere in your home. You're going to keep it on your body. If you're a female, you're going to keep it in a purse, backpack, things like that. I'm just going to talk about all those different things and things to think about and just things to consider when you go to pick your next handgun. So anyway, since I started with a Glock, I'm going to go ahead and just point out this Glock 19 right here. This is a simple Standardation Gen 4 Glock 19, holds 15 rounds, okay? You can see by the size of it, I'm a 6-foot tall guy, got average size hands, and you can see how it fits in my hand right here, okay? Your hands might be a little too big for you, considering the fact that this is considered a double stack magazine, okay? Going along with that, still sticking along with the double stacks, this one's a little bit shorter. This is a Springfield XD. As you notice it in comparison to the Glock 19, okay? If you want to carry it in something to give you a little bit smaller of a print than the Glock 19, you can carry it with its 9-round magazine right there, which is going to be flat, or if you wanted to, you can go with the extended magazine, which is going to go ahead and hold 12, which will give you that full extension. So that way when you go to fire the firearm, you will be able to have a full grip on it if you have full-size hands, okay? Going on down the line, just a little bit smaller, is your Diamondback. This is in 9mm. They also make them in 380. As you can see, in comparison to the Glock 19, it's much thinner and much smaller in size, okay? You can have it like this. You can just stick it in your pocket. However, if it's going to fall around your pocket, if you wanted to, you can find little leather devices like this where you can put it in. Totally legal, okay? You can put it inside there, fully operate the whole thing, operate the slide, load the gun, change the magazine, pull the trigger. And you can turn around with this, carry it in like your front pocket, your back pocket. That way it's not going to rotate or fall around. Or if you put it in a backpack, it's in that simple squared area, all right? Going off again with your little bit thinner profile of the firearms, you have your Smith & Wesson Shield, all right? This is actually a performance model ported on the top to allow for less recoil as the muzzle flip comes up. This also has your fiber optic sights. Again, comparing it to the Glock 19, as far as overall, it's not that much smaller. It is quite a bit thinner. So again, if you're carrying this up against your body or you're carrying it in your purse, it's going to give a lot smaller profile. You will go ahead and you can have a 7 or 8 round magazine all the way in there. It looks about like that. As you notice, as it sits in my hand, it's all the way flat. Okay, if you were just to have the 7-round magazine, it's going to go ahead and come just about there. That way, it'll be just above where the pinky area is on a person of my size. So moving on to the 1911, tried and true, been around for well over 100 years. Okay, I know there's a lot of people who are for it and a lot of people who are against it. It's definitely battle tested throughout the ages. It's being used all the way up till today. Yes, I understand there's still the Beretta and the Glock that's being used overseas as well. Okay, but you see how it fits in the hand. Okay, roughly size, this would be considered a full-size 1911 right there. It is a lot thinner than your Glock 19, but as you notice in size, it is a little bit larger. Okay. You can go ahead and get it in a compact version or a officer's model, which is going to make it a little bit smaller overall. Okay, and even with this one, you can go ahead and get a 7-round magazine and hold one in the chamber for a total of 8 rounds. These, of course, are in .45 caliber. You can get them in 9mm. From there, I'm going to go ahead and talk about revolvers. There are some people who don't like carrying magazine-fed guns. They're afraid that they might get a negligent discharge of the firearm, so they rather have something some type of revolver. This right here, I have a Smith & Wesson. This actually, you can change the grips over, so when you see it pink and black, you can have it in one color or the other, but that's not really my point here. You have them to where they have a hammer, or there's ones that are hammerless. In this case, this one actually has a recessed hammer. This is good for someone's carrying it in a purse or a bag or close to the body. Whenever they go to draw it out, you don't have to worry about that hammer coming back and getting caught on something. And if you're a person to where you were going to pull the trigger, you have a hard time, maybe you just have weak hands, you're arthritic, something like that, you have a hard time pulling that hammer back while you pull the trigger back. What you can do, once you remove the firearm from wherever you have it, you can go ahead and pull that hammer back. That way it's already in single action mode, and you can go ahead and pull that trigger. It'll be a lot easier of a pull, and you don't have to worry so much about pulling off the target while you're pulling that long trigger. So from there, I'm going to go ahead and show you the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. This one does have a laser, and lasers can be attached to pretty much every firearm that I just talked about from one company or another. There are pros and cons to all of them, okay? And that is up for you to decide on whether you want to have one or not. My biggest suggestion with them, if you do put a laser on your firearm or have a firearm with a laser, and to ensure that it is zeroed correctly, in other words, pointing to where you want the gun to be, to where you want the gun to hit at approximately, I would suggest 10 to 15 meters away. So that is all I have. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and hit us up on the comment section below. Thank you.